Hi everybody and welcome to the Crafty Maven. Today is Mix It Up Monday and here is the inspiration piece, and what I'm going to be using on that inspiration piece is those books there. So today is Mix It Up Monday and I am looking through some vintage older papers from Bo Bunny. Woohoo! Anyway, I am going to be doing a mini album insert. What I'm doing is I am doing a museum booklet for all the museums that I visit throughout the country here. And of course, I started in my own backyard, which is California. And I'm going to be doing a layout of the California Railroad Museum. I did a layout the last time, which I'll show you at the end of the video here, of the California History Museum. So now I'm doing one for the California State Railroad Museum. Now, I don't know if you know, but I can get into all the museums thanks to my lovely, lovely daughter who graduated from Sac State for free because history was her major, and she was working for the California, or volunteering, I should say, for the California History Museum here in Sacramento. And so she got us free passes for us to be able to get into all the museums, pretty much the majority of them over throughout the country. So there's that little book stamp you saw there. I kind of showed that up quickly, and then it just reminded me to go ahead and use my book stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I've had that book stamp forever, by the way. And that came from Studio Calico. Studio Calico, I used to get the kits all the time from there, and that was one of the stamp sets that came in a kit, and I'm glad I kept it because I was going to give it away at one point, but I decided to go ahead and keep it. So it's just a bunch of books sitting on a bookshelf, and so that's what prompted me to use that stamp, and that's what it's all about, inspiration. Whether it has anything to do with the layout or not, it's still, that's what inspiration is. So by me looking at that inspiration piece, it just reminded me, hey, you know what? I have a book stamp, and so that's what I decided to go ahead and do. So after I ink these edges here with some of the Tim Holtz, I think it was antique, I can't remember now. I'm going to be matting this photo, and that's going to be part of my first pocket. So now I'm going to use this one. I love this piece because of the cup holders, the cup stains on it. I love pieces like this. It's like so, you know, vintagey kind of type of deal thing, and that's what it's all about with the layout here that I'm making. So I had already pre-put, well, I should say pre-collected or selected items here for this album, and I have them all together in one of my containers there with a organizer in it. So that way I can just pretty much pull out what I need from that organizer. And so that's why this was so easy and so fast to put together, because I've already had everything pulled out for this album that I'm going to be working on. So the album, this is my second layout for this album, and I'm going to be doing little bits and pieces here and there, you know, for the different museums that I go into. It could be one page, it could be 2 pages. This one is going to be front and back, and I only take like a few pictures. I definitely take the front of the building, and then some of the pictures that I think kind of just stands out for me at the museum that I do visit. So that was so fun though, to go to that railroad museum. I mean, the trains were so huge. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so right now what I'm doing is I'm cutting some strips here because I want to do just a little bit of documentation for this layout. And I'm also going to be using some of my VersaFine ink, and there's that stamp. I'm just trying to get it straight. And so I'm picking it up right now, and I'm only going to stamp a little bit of the books there onto this layout here. So there you see there, I just put a row down the bottom. See that? I love that look. I love how it just kind of cuts off too. Just, man, I get excited over stuff like that. So I'm going to be putting the gold star, and I don't do a whole lot of embellishing for this. What I do is I just kind of like do a little simple embellishments, and documentation is what counts here for me as far as getting these inserts done and things like that, with the photos and a few words here and there, because I did some documentation. I'm still trying to figure out what documentation to put at the beginning of each one of these layouts for the museum here, because that's what I'm going to be doing, just doing documentation inserts. And you're going to see on when I show you the album, I have a flip up and I have a blank area that I'm going to be adding some journaling strips onto that. And I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. That's why it's still blank there. And then for each one that I do, I'm going to have some documentation. So as you can see here, I got a small photo of the train. And I just was going to put it on this piece, but then I changed my mind. So then I go back into my container and I look for some brads and stuff because I decided to go ahead and use that little thing that looks like a little ticket, and that's from a Tim Holtz, whatchamacallit there. And I'm going to be using that to kind of document or kind of show that I had, that, you know, it's tickets to kind of like, you know, to ride the train. It takes tickets to ride the train. So just a little something here just to embellish that particular area. And I'm looking through my scraps right now. So if you're wondering what that is, that is my container of uneven scraps. Anytime when a scrap is at least 4 inches long and 2 inches, whatever, I just put it in there and cut them down because I really don't like to waste a lot of paper. And I try my best to really be conscious of that. And so what I do with my scraps is I cut them up into usable pieces, so I'm not cutting any scraps. They're already ready to go. And I don't cut up my scraps every time when I use it. I only cut up my scraps maybe once every 6 months, and then I just get them all organized because I do run out of scraps, believe it or not. And I forgot who I got this idea from. I think, I want to say, well, I'll just put her name up here. I'll remember once I get finished with the video, but I'll put her name up here. But I got this idea from her, and it changed the way I scrap, honestly. I have exactly 3x4 scraps, and I have exactly 4x6 scraps, and I have 6x6 scraps, and anything, I don't have anything bigger than a 6x6. So I keep them all neatly put away and organized so that I can just go in them and grab them, and they're in the, because you know the containers are sorted by colors. So I do that, and then in the back of the container towards the back is a lot of the patterned scraps, so I just keep it like that. And it's just easy. I kind of like flipping through and kind of seeing what I have there anyway. So, all right, enough about the scraps. So right now I am doing this part of the layout. I'm going to be using some washi tape. So it's kind of gold and white washi tape, and just offsetting that piece of paper there in the white and everything to give it some contrast so that you can see the photo. Adding some enamel dots to the ticket there that I put underneath the photo, and I added that brad up the top there in the upper right hand corner. And so that way, you know, you can see that. So I just put some tape on there to hold the washi tape down. So now I'm going to insert that into that part of the pocket. And then I have one more photo here. And this particular photo is of the miniature train set that they had there. It was so adorable and so cute. And it was running around in the little city with the little people. I thought that was the cutest thing ever. So I'm going to be putting that down there, and I didn't want to cut off any of that photo, so I'm just going to add a few things on top of that photo so that you could still see the city there and the little miniature train city there, or town, I should say. Town. I don't know why I said city. Anyway, probably because I live in the city. Anyway, so that particular insert is all done, and then there's the back. And so here is the book, and you can see museums around the world. And then there's that flip up I told you. I still have to put journaling strips there. And that was the first museum that I went to. And I took some of my most important. You could see Harrison Ford's blaster there because they had an exhibit for Harrison Ford at the California History Museum. And so that's pretty much it. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope this inspires you to create your own little mini album. Maybe a vacation one or whatever you want. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And don't forget to tune in to more of the Crafty Maven. Have a good day. Bye-bye.